This is Chris with Eagles. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris with Eagles, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. It'll all be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my WWE Monday Night Raw, November 28th, 2022 reviews. So here we go, discussing about Monday Night Raw. Now we kick off the show with Becky Lynch. She makes a return back on Raw after 4 months or whatever. So yeah, she comes out and she's pretty much saying how happy she is to be back on Raw and everything. And then she was going through the crowd and stuff, saying how happy you see me and stuff like that. And the fans obviously cheering for her. She went up to this guy named Bob and talking to him, and then there was a guy named Zachary that was getting pretty close a lot. But then, you know, she's having a good time, you know, being around the fans and all that stuff. But then all of a sudden she gets interrupted by Bayley, and Bayley comes out and she says that she's tired of people like Becky Lynch getting appreciated because she only came back and only had one extreme match in 4 months, and she's been like way more extreme stuff like ladder matches, last woman standing matches, war games, stuff like that. So yeah, that's what Bayley was saying. She says that she's tired of not getting appreciated by the fans, but they appreciate people like Becky Lynch. So yeah, that's what Bayley was talking about. And Becky was like, well, should I go down there and fight Bayley if she don't want to shut up? And Bayley was like, I'm down for a fight, and you know, fans are chanting yes and all that stuff. And when Becky was about to go down there, all of a sudden we see the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, Damage Control come up, attacking Becky through the crowd and stuff. Becky obviously fighting back and stuff. Bayley comes over there, and Damage Control is attacking Becky. They go to the backstage where, like, at the merchandise stand and stuff, fighting and all that stuff. And there was brawling at the merchandise stands using, like, lunch boxes and, you know, those title belts, those toy ones, and stuff like that, brawling. And Becky was actually holding her own, throwing them like at the tables, slamming their faces on tables and stuff. But eventually a bunch of security guards and stuff comes up, stopping the brawl. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment. It looks like we definitely are getting Becky Lynch versus Bayley as the next feud. So I bet it'll be pretty good, because I don't remember if that feud ever happened. It probably happened in NXT, and I don't remember it happening ever on the main roster. So yeah, it'll be pretty interesting. Out of all the 4 horsewomen, we really don't see Becky going against Bayley a lot. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. But there's a lot of stuff going on. The first hour of Raw is commercial free. But up next, we're going to be seeing Rhea Ripley versus Mia Yim one-on-one up next on Raw. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw. Now, before I talk about the match, I forgot to mention, actually, before the first segment of the night, where we see the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline. They actually arrived to Raw, so yeah, they'll be on Raw later on tonight, which I forgot to mention. But yeah, we go with the first match of the night. It was Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio at ringside versus Mia Yim one-on-one. And it was becoming a pretty good match and stuff. At one point, we see Mia Yim trying to hit the Eat the Feet onto Rhea, but Rhea fought out of it. And then she was trying to hit the, and to tell you the truth, I forgot what Rhea Ripley calls her finish move. Just off the top of my head, I cannot remember it now. But yeah, she was trying to hit her finisher move, and Mia Yim reverses into a nice DDT, which was pretty nice at one point. And Rhea Ripley rolls out the ring. Mia Yim was about to run to the ropes to like hit a move onto Rhea outside the ring, but then when she turns around trying to like run to the ropes and come off of it, Dominic was on the apron distracting her, so she grabs the ropes and yanked the ropes in, and Dominic goes flying over the top rope into the ring. Mia Yim's getting face to face with Dominic, but then Rhea Ripley comes in there, takes Mia Yim down, punching her in the face and all that. Dominic's still in the ring, just cheering and laughing and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, AJ Styles comes running down, and he grabs Dominic, and he runs him over Rhea Ripley, which, you know, they kind of like they did land on her, and it was like on the top of her head. So, but it looks like now she's okay, which is a good thing. But yeah, that's what happened there, and it led to like a no contest, I guess, or disqualification or something. But it don't matter because AJ Styles grabbed the mic and he says that he wants to challenge, Judgment Day, because after he came down there fighting Dominic, that's when we see Finn Balor and Damian Priest coming down, and then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson brawling with all of them, and they all kept on brawling, and that's when AJ grabs the mic and he challenges them for a match. So yeah, and then we get the match underway, the OC versus the Judgment Day up next in that 8-person tag team match. So yeah, for that match between Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley, I'll give it 1.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. But in DQ. So yeah. But up next, 8-person tag team match. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was an 8-person tag team match. It was AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Mia Yim, the OC, versus Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day, in the 8-person tag team match. And it was a pretty good match. At the ending of this match, everybody was going at it and stuff. It was Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley that was the ones tagged in. Mia Yim got Rhea Ripley out of the ring. She runs to the ropes, hits a suicide dive onto her. So yeah, both of them outside the ring and stuff. And then that's when everybody else is inside the ring brawling. We've seen Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson trying to hit the Magic Killer onto Damian Priest. But then Dominic comes up saving Priest by grabbing Carl Anderson and running him into the ring post, shoulder first. And then that's when Gallows uppercuts Dominic, and Dominic goes out the ring. And then Finn Balor comes up knocking Gallows out as well. I mean, Damian was the one that knocked Gallows out. My fault. Him with the sit-out choke slam onto him. And then that's when AJ hits the phenomenal forearm onto Damian. And then Finn Balor comes up throwing AJ over the top rope, laying him out. And then Mia Yim comes back in, hitting a power slam onto Finn Balor as well, laying him out. And then Dominic comes back into the ring, and Mia Yim kicks him in the stomach, try to hit like a DDT onto him. But then that's when Rhea Ripley comes in, kicking her in the back of the leg, and then hitting her finish move, the Riptide. Now I forgot what the move was called at first when I was talking about her match with Mia Yim, the one-on-one match. But there we go, I finally remembered. But yeah, she hit the Riptide onto her and then pinned her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the Judgment Day defeated the OC tonight in the 8-person tag team match. That's what happened. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good match. But then, after the match ended, we see a segment from backstage from earlier today with Byron Saxton interviewing Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits, and they are back and all that stuff. And they was talking about how they're happy to be back and all that stuff. But then all of a sudden they get interrupted by Chad Gable and Otis, Alpha Academy, and they was like, "Oh, y'all been gone for a minute." Well, while y'all been gone, we've been the best thing on Monday Night Raw in months. And you know what? We requested a match against y'all tonight, and they gave it to us because we want to put y'all back on the shelf. So yeah, that's what they said, and the Street Profits started making jokes, and they said they want the smoke, and they walked away, and Gable and Otis was mad. So yeah, it looks like later on tonight we got a tag team match with those two teams. But up next, we're going to be seeing the Bloodline on Raw up next. So yeah, we're going to see what they got to say. See you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, now it was at the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay the Usos, Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline make their way down to the ring, and the Bloodline starts talking. Jimmy Uso was talking about how they won at War Games and all that stuff, and how they don't got to deal with Kevin Owens or anybody else anymore and all that stuff. But then Sami Zayn grabs the mic and he starts talking about how he's glad to be like fully in the Bloodline now, that he's happy and everything, that that he's glad that all this has been happening and all that stuff, and how he's on the same side with Jey Uso finally. You know, he does that handshake and stuff with Jimmy Uso, and then he actually hugs Jey Uso because Jey Uso, at first he wanted to shake Jey Uso's hand. Jey looks at him and he finally shakes his hand and gave him a hug instead. So yeah, that's what he did, and then Jimmy Uso jumps in the hug, and then they was trying to get Solo Sikoa to hug them, but Solo, he was about to, until Kevin Owens comes walking out, and then Owens was talking, and then Sammy was like, before you say anything, I don't want to deal with you. And Kevin Owens was like, it's perfectly fine, because I wanted to tell you that I don't want to deal with you no more. I don't want to be tag team partners with you. No nothing. Don't want to drive here with you. Never again. I'm done with you. And I understand why you done it all, but I'm done with you. And yeah, that's what Kevin Owens was saying. And then Jey Uso pops up in the conversation and stuff, talking junk, and Kevin Owens was like, look, even though I'm done with Sami Zayn, that doesn't mean I'm not done with you and the rest of the bloodline. So how about this? I challenge you tonight in a one-on-one match, Jey. And Jey Uso was like, okay, I accept. So yeah, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso one-on-one later on tonight on Raw. But then after that, we see Candice LeRae walking backstage, and then she's returned back on Raw after a month, and we got her getting interviewed and stuff, and they was asking her about the injury and stuff, and that she'll be taking on Dakota Kai later on tonight. And Candice LeRae was talking about how she came here with a smile on her face and all that from the start, and then she grabs the mic and then she says that she's going to take out Dakota Kai and the rest of Damage Control now. So yeah, that's what she said later on tonight, though. Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai one-on-one later on tonight on Raw. But up next, we're going to be seeing the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy in a tag team match up next. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw now was a tag team match. But before I talk about that tag team match, it was one segment backstage where we see Byron Saxton interviewing Matt Riddle and Elias backstage. And Matt Riddle was talking about how he remembers that they had a match and they was doing pretty good. They beat Alpha Academy, and Elias was like, "Yeah, that was last week. It wasn't long ago." So yeah, that's what they were saying. And Riddle was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, other than that, we're a great tag team, and we should try to get a tag team title shot." And Elias was like, "You know what? I think it'd be pretty cool to get some gold around my waist since I never won any titles in WWE." Even though he kind of did, he won the 24/7 title once, but, we forget about that, but yeah. But then, all of a sudden, the Usos overheard him, and they was with Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn. They was like, oh, you want to try to challenge us for the tag team titles? And they was like, yeah, we do. And the Usos was like, anytime, anywhere, come after us. And they was like, okay, cool. And then the Usos walked away. Sami Zayn looks at them, and he walks away, and then Solo Sikoa just stares at Riddle and Elias, and then he finally walks away. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then we get to the next match. It was Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits versus Chad Gable and Otis, Alpha Academy, in a tag team match. And it was a pretty good tag team match. We'll get to the ending of this match where it looked like Alpha Academy was going to win, because Gable hits that roll through German suplex onto Angelo Dawkins. He pins him 1-2. Montez Ford breaks up the pin at the count of 2. Otis comes into the ring grabbing Montez, but Montez grabs him and hits the power slam onto Otis, taking him out from the match. And then Chad Gable looks at Montez. He runs towards Montez, and then that's when Angelo Dawkins hits him with the right hand. And then hits a spine buster onto Chad Gable. Tags in Montez. Montez climbs up the top turnbuckle and jumps off with the frog splash onto Chad Gable, and then pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the Street Profits defeated Alpha Academy tonight in a tag team match. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good match. But then after that, we see Austin Theory walking backstage, and yeah, it looks like he'll probably be on Raw up next. But yeah, later on tonight, we will see The Miz versus Dexter Lumis in the Anything Goes match later on tonight on Raw as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was the United States Champion Austin Theory, he comes out to the ring, and he was talking about how he's not the youngest at this, he's not the youngest that, he is the now, and he is now the new United States Champion by defeating Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins on Saturday at Survivor Series. So yeah, that's what Austin Theory was saying. So he's saying he's not a damn kid no more, he is the now, and he's tired of being the youngest this, youngest that stuff. So yeah, and he says that he is the face of Monday Night Raw now, and there's nobody that's going to ever pretty much take him off of it. And then also he gets interrupted by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out, he gets face to face with Austin Theory and stuff, and then he looks at him and he goes like, well, I just want to say some things, you know. You say you're not youngest this, youngest that, blah, 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 and you know what? You just got lucky, pretty much. And I want to say congratulations, kid. And Austin Theory got mad. He goes like, I'm not no kid. And Seth Rollins was like, what, you want to fight or something? Come on, kid. Let's go ahead and fight then. And Austin Theory gets face to face. He goes like, you know what? I would fight you. And Rollins like, okay, cool. And Theory was like, on the champ's time. And then he looks at Rollins and goes like, I'm not your damn kid. And then he walks out the ring, goes up the ramp, holding up the title up high, and Seth Rollins staring him down. So yeah, that's what happened there. It was a pretty good segment though between those two. So yeah, but then after that we see them doing like a WWE investigates with Dexter Lumis and the Miz's storyline and stuff. So yeah, that's what they've been doing as well. They showed a video package about that. But up next, it looks like we're going to be seeing The Miz versus Dexter Lumis in the Anything Goes match. If Dexter Lumis wins, he gets a WWE contract. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening. But yeah, that match is supposed to be happening soon. So yeah, and later on tonight, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso 1-on-1 as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a 1-on-1 match. It was The Miz versus Dexter Lumis 1-on-1 in a Anything Goes match. If Dexter Lumis wins this match, he wins a WWE contract. That's stipulations, but yeah, no disqualifications, no countouts in this match. And not only that, if Dexter Lumis does win, he gets like a bunch of money that's in the bag, which Miz actually brought out. He brought out the money in the bag, and Adam Pearce straight up yeeted that out of his hands and, brought it to the tables and stuff. But then we get the match underway because Dexter Lumis attacked Miz from outside the ring, throws Miz into the ring. Miz hits a DDT onto him inside the ring, and then Miz was like, oh, I actually got him down. Okay, go ahead and ring the bell. And then the referee rings the bell, and Dexter Lumis is like immediately back up. And then they both going at it and stuff. They use like some weapons and stuff. Like at one point they went through the crowd, and Dexter Lumis had elbow drop onto Miz, threw a table, laying him out, brought him into the ring. Miz was like exposing a turnbuckle and stuff. Dexter Lumis at one point ran into the exposed turnbuckle. Miz rolls him up and has his feet on the top rope, pinning him, but Dexter Lumis barely kicking out at 2. Miz grabs him, setting up for the Skull Crusher finale onto Dexter Lumis, but Dexter Lumis kicks back up, and then he hits a side effect onto Miz, and then locks on that chokehold, making Miz tap out. So yeah, Dexter Lumis defeated Miz, and yeah, he signs the contract, and now he's officially a part of WWE now. So yeah, but yeah, that's what happened there. He wins the money bag. And then he starts giving some money away to some kids in the crowd and all that stuff. And he's going up the ramp and stuff, gives like $100 to one kid. And then all of a sudden, that's when Miz attacks him from behind, steals $100 from the kid, and then he's holding it up. And then he turns around, he gets hit with a super kick by Johnny Gargano. Gargano takes the $100 off his hand, gives it to the kid, and grabs the money back and gives it to Dexter Lumis. So yeah. That's what happened there. For the match between Dexter Lumis and Miz, I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was an entertaining match. So yeah, that's what I'll give it. But yeah, pretty good stuff. That's what happened. But yeah, up next we're going to be seeing Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae 1-on-1 up next on Raw. But later on tonight in the main event, it will be Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso 1-on-1 in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a one-on-one match. It was Candice LeRae versus one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Dakota Kai. Now, Dakota Kai was making her entrance, and then this is why they did that split screen stuff while they're going on commercial and stuff. Candice LeRae attacked Dakota Kai from behind, beating her down and stuff, and, the match started during that time, and Bailey and Io Sky actually came out, and a bunch of security guards and Adam Pearce comes out telling the rest of Damage Control to go backstage and stuff. And then the match was going on between Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae, and it was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. But we get to the ending of the match where we see Dakota Kai setting up Candice LeRae on the top turnbuckle, which I hit like a superplex onto her. Candice LeRae fighting back and stuff, and then has that swinging neck breaker onto Dakota Kai off the top turnbuckle, and then pins her for the 1, 2, 3. So Candice LeRae defeated Dakota Kai tonight in a one-on-one match. That's what happened. It was a pretty good match. It lasted for a good minute now. I'll give that match 3 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good match between Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae. Pretty good one. But that's what happened there. Slight attitude change with Candice LeRae. Pretty good stuff though. That's what really needed to happen, to tell you the truth. But then after that we see Jey Uso working out, doing push-ups and stuff in the locker room with the Bloodline and them standing around. So later on tonight, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso, 1-on-1 in the main event later on tonight on Raw. So that match is still to come, and I think there's still more stuff to come as well. So I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a one-on-one match. It was a main event. But before I talk about that main event, we got to talk about one segment backstage where we see the WWE Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss get an interview. And while they was getting an interview, we see the Wyatt 6 logo pretty much popping up on the TV for like a split second or whatever. And Bianca was getting an interview, talking about how, that she's happy that they're pretty much done with Damage Control at the War Games and all that stuff. And Asuka says the same thing, and Alexa Bliss seems out there. But then they finally got her attention. She was like, oh yeah, we're done. So that's what happened there. And then we get to the main event. Kevin Owens versus one half of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jey Uso, with Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline at ringside. So it was a one-on-one match between Kevin Owens and Jey Uso. It was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth. At one point, we see Jey hit a super kick onto Owens. Owens barely kicking out too. Kevin Owens got back up, kicks Jey in the stomach, throws him to the ropes. Try to hit the pop-up powerbomb onto Jey, but his back kind of gave out. And then Jey Uso hits the super kick onto him again. Pins him. 1, 2. Kevin barely kicking out at 2. And then Owens was on the apron and stuff, and the referee's distracted by Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso gets on the apron. He super kicks Jimmy Uso off the apron, and then Solo Sikoa comes up tripping Kevin Owens on the apron and stuff, and then Owens rolls back into the ring. Jey Uso climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off, tries the Uso splash onto him. Kevin Owens moves out the way. Jey lands on his feet, and then he gets kicked in the stomach, getting hit with a stunner by Kevin, and then Kevin pins Jey for the 3 count. So Kevin Owens defeated Jey Uso tonight on Raw. That's what happened. It was a pretty good main event. For that match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. For match of the night, I'll probably have to say it was an 8-person tag team match from earlier with Judgment Day versus the OC. So that's what I'll say was match of the night. For Raw tonight, I'll give it 7 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was an okay episode for Raw. So that's what I'll give it. But that's been my WWE Monday Night Raw reviews. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. They'll all be down there in the description box. And I'll see you guys later for this Wednesday's AEW Dynamite reviews and this Friday's Friday Night SmackDown reviews. And like I said, see you guys later.